Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Paulio Jr., and to my left or right, whatever, is CJ's Info.
Yo, what's going on, guys?
And welcome to the first official new name of the podcast, which we are calling the Inner Circle Podcast. Don't read into it too much. It doesn't, there's no deep meaning to it, but it sounds cool, and we liked it, and it pops out, so stay with that. Yeah, so we have a lot of things to cover today, and to be honest with you, I don't know about you, Chris, but I actually get in like a totally different mood, like once we are about to start a podcast, or like even as we're like collecting information on like things that we want to touch on and so forth.
Yeah,
Like
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And you were telling me some stuff about 5G network. I don't know much about it, but I know you're pretty knowledgeable on that, and you have some experience. Can you tell me and everybody what this is about compared to the 4G network?
Dude, I mean, everything is changing at an incredibly like rapid pace. It's unbelievable. And
Yeah, it is.
so right now, I'm gonna pull up a screen I have
Okay.
here. So, um, so I think there are a few places that do have 5G already available,
Right.
but whatchamacallit? But it's really not that prevalent yet.
So real quick, I mean, I have an iPhone X, right? This is $1,000.
Yeah.
This is a 4G. Can this turn into 5G, or I have to buy a whole new phone?
I believe it's going to be as like the newer phones come out. I don't know specifically how they're implementing it, like if it's going to be via a SIM card or how they're going to do it. But yeah, but the phone itself is going to have a built-in 5G capability.
So we have to buy new phones, essentially.
Yeah, but 5G still isn't. It's not prevalent enough.
Okay, right.
To even consider yet. So they have a new iPhone every year. So it's like, what's the point? You know, people are just going to buy our new phone. So we'll just put it in. You know, once 5G is actually everywhere. So,
right.
But yeah, let me bring up the screen real quick. So, and now this is really, you can see this. Now, from what I read before, 5G is actually more prevalent in the United Kingdom. Now, obviously, I've never been there. I don't know if it's just different sections or different parts of the United Kingdom, but
my brother actually is in the UK.
Goes to school there. Yeah.
Yeah, he's actually sitting right over here.
Yeah. Well,
hey, Danny, is 5G pretty popular over there? He says it is.
Yeah. So as of right now, for whatever reason, the UK has a much better infrastructure as far as the 5G goes. So I have no idea, because usually we're on top of this shit. But But the biggest thing to look at are the speeds. I mean, obviously this is a very basic graph, but you see 3G, and 3G came out, I think, when I was still.
You were like born, right? You were a little baby.
Yeah, I was like 4. It's like like the end of high school.
Yeah.
Like maybe like 2004, 2003 maybe, and like that was like unbelievable, at the time. And then,
it was.
Yeah, that 4G came out, and that just, as you can see right here, it was, well over 10 times faster than the 3G. But now we are looking at 5G, which the average speed is 10 gigabits per second. So not megabits, gigabits.
I actually was going to say gigabytes, but I don't know. I just
No.
realized there's a key there.
No. So for whatever reason, we grew up on like kilobytes and megabytes and
Yeah.
all that stuff. So, but I guess when they're talking about
Internet reception.
well, but when they're talking about like download and upload speeds, they typically talk in bits for whatever reason. So I think it's like six megabits equals 1 megabyte. So you can do the math from there. But anyway, so what's going to happen here is there are speeds of, like I said, up to 10 gigabits per second.
It's nuts.
But it is, from what I've been reading, is that this is it is very likely that this takes over Wi-Fi, like almost altogether. So it is very possible for it to actually eliminate Wi-Fi in a certain manner.
Right.
But it offers the same speed as your home connection, if not faster. So right now the 5G is way faster than my home internet.
Right.
At least like the plan that I have. So, but yeah, it's supposed to help replace Wi-Fi. It's going to be just as fast and faster than a lot of internet service providers have to offer as far as speeds. And just for whatever reason, the U.S. is, they're not as evolved as the United Kingdom is as far as implemented.
Do you feel that? I always feel that there's this like competition where, okay, so this 5G is up next, but then people are going to offer, let's say Comcast or other companies are going to start saying, hey, we can bump your internet higher so that it beats your cellular data levels.
Yeah, but the biggest thing is, obviously now, in 2019, and as we move forward, everybody is everyone's using their phone, or some kind of mobile device more than they're using their laptops or their desktop computers anymore.
Right.
So there's obviously, as you've probably seen just from people walking down the street, is everybody's walking down the street with their heads down about to get T-boned by a freaking, a Volkswagen Jetta or something like that.
Right.
So because no one's paying attention anymore. I don't know how many times a day I have to beat my horn at somebody because the light turned green, but they're still staring at their phone.
Right.
So people are going to be more concerned. Here's a better like a little graph right here as far as 3G, like their average download speeds, peak download, and what they expect it to be. So, but still, this is unbelievable as far as as far as the average download speeds for 5G and what it's capable of, which is the theoretical one. It's capable of doing 50 gigabits per second, which is ridiculous. But
I don't know why, but there's a lot of times where I feel like my 4G cellular data is faster than Wi-Fi connection.
The only time that would ever be the case is when there are way too many things or way too many devices connected to one router.
So, especially like places where they offer free Wi-Fi, I feel like
they're garbage. They're garbage.
Yeah, cellular data out, is like so much faster.
Yeah. If most places that you go to offer free Wi-Fi, they actually typically throttle it too.
Yeah.
So like they have it, in the router, they can edit the settings and say,
right.
no individual can download past whatever it is, 30 kilobytes a second or something like that. So everybody gets throttled. But I would say that within the next, and it's gonna get data transfer speeds with 8K video. It's crazy, man, what's gonna be happening in the next couple of years here. But I would say realistically, this will all be, pretty implemented. They'll have the infrastructure. It'll be completely set up and ready to go. And it seems like more for Verizon than anybody else at the moment. But I would say 2021 is when it would actually really be available to everybody. So until then, the U.S. just kind of has to suck it up a little bit.
Yeah, more people are going to be streaming, movies and whatnot now a lot faster.
Oh, dude, these I mean, you can do that with 4G, and
Right.
now, you can stream Netflix easily, and obviously YouTube and all that with
Right.
4G perfectly fine, even on like 720 and sometimes.
I mean, like with 5G, you're probably going to have no buffering whatsoever.
None at all. The only problem I can foresee is that if people are connecting, they have like the Comcast, like free Comcast, where they can connect to around the city.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it's going to be like that,
Okay.
or if it's just going to, and then you just have to log in and so forth from there. But either way, if you actually want to use it for Wi-Fi, but I think it's going to be primarily for, for mobile devices than anything else. So
Yeah.
it's going to be absolutely insane as far as the download and upload speeds go. But yeah, you had so you were telling me something about a flying car. I don't know where. I don't know who. I don't know what it's about. Besides that it's a flying car.
Yeah, so basically when we did our last podcast, we were talking about this guy flying around on a hoverboard, jet-powered hoverboard, and I meant to talk about kind of like the Jetsons again, as far as the flying cars, and it kind of goes in hand with this guy flying around on the hoverboard. It's just that I'm trying to figure out, well, he's inventing a hoverboard, and then people are inventing flying cars, so is it that we're trying to get single people flying around in the sky, or are we trying to get a car in the air? It's like, which one is which? But they have created flying cars, and I'll show you. I'll screen share, real quick.
Yeah, I remember. I listened to the Joe Rogan podcast, and he had Neil deGrasse Tyson on it, and they were talking about how realistic it would be to actually implement flying cars into our everyday life. And as far as it is right now, it seems like that this is something that's a decent idea to a certain degree, but to have, anything could go wrong, obviously, in a flying car, and you could name 1,000 things off the top of your head. What happens if it loses, what actually makes it levitate?
Right.
And it just falls to the earth, But
so this article here, this is the marketexpert24.com, and I know you're really good with stock markets and stuff, and I think that this is really going to be, as I said, the next generation of transportation with these, because if you read right here, it's saying flying cars market is thriving at a over $90 billion market, and CAGR, I guess, a company with plus 8%, top renowned key players. So here are the companies that are doing all this: Aero Mobile, Z Aero,
Uber,
Hang, Uber, Terrafugia, Airbus, Evolo, Halvi, Carplane, and Lilium. So if we invested in these companies right now and we look at the date, look at this date, they're saying by the end of 2026, the forecast from now to 2026, I guess, plus 8% or whatever, the fact is that over $90 billion, our money would be, astronomically increased with the stock market if we invested in them. Would I be wrong in saying that?
I really think that is a very, very optimistic. Scroll down.
Because I think of it as in, a good example like Tesla. I mean, look at where Tesla started. Fully electric vehicles, which is still not 100%, meaning not 100% everybody has this vehicle, but their stock markets have increased greatly over time. Has it not?
Yeah, I mean, Tesla's doing okay. It's just that they are.
Well, not just Tesla, but I mean other, like all the electric companies. If you invested that with them when they started this stuff,
Yeah.
like here we go, Flying Cars Market Study, the U.S., Canada, Mexico, Germany, France, UK. Look at this is a lot of countries: Italy, Russia, Japan, China. There's a lot of companies behind all of this, and this is not like this is I feel like way beyond Tesla because how serious this is going to be. As far as the next wave of transportation here.
I don't doubt. Obviously, I don't doubt that people are checking or looking into this, but I still think it's way too optimistic to think that this is going to be a normal means of transportation by 2026. So I think that's way too soon.
This is something about it being in your garage. It looks like a boat.
Yeah.
It actually looks like a boat.
Yeah, I think that's really optimistic. At least with the Teslas, they didn't have to do much. So they didn't have
hybrid with wings, dude.
Yeah. No, But when Tesla was made, there wasn't all these alterations that they had to do with like the FAA and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's already like a vehicle that it wasn't about flying in the air. It was just turning it into electric. What is this, missiles? Or we got rocket launchers?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it's basically like going to turn into a helicopter or, like a big drone.
Yo, this reminds me of a Osprey, dude. In the Marines, the Marine helicopter.
The Osprey gunners?
Identical, like the way the propellers go up and then they go like this, and then you're like.
Yeah. I don't know if civilians are ready for this. Obviously, this is not real. This is some kind of mock-up that they did. So, good over there?
There it is. That's like the guy flying in the air, but it's a car. And not only that, but these things can go on the ocean, Paul.
Well, yeah, no shit. But, I mean.
This is serious stuff, man.
I don't think it's, we can go back. In 2026, we can go back to this video, and we can see if I'm right or wrong. But I do not see this as being something that's realistic, even in the next 10 years, as a regular means of transportation. I think we're there's no way.
I did read, not to interrupt but one thing I was reading is something that was talking just how populated, certain countries are, such as Japan.
Yeah.
And how much more economical or whatever convenient it would be not to have something like this in their country. It's just gonna like alleviate so much traffic out there. I don't think.
Where are you gonna go? I mean, like, say you're in whatever city. You say you're in the heart of a city, and you have electrical wires. You have all kinds of obstructions that are in the way. You're not just going to be flying over cars. You're still going to have the street lights and all that kind of stuff. Anything else that's going to be in the way of this happening. I'm not saying that this is a bad idea, even though it kind of is. I think.
Yeah, I agree with you in the fact that this is going to be really difficult as far as, a lot of rules and regulations. And, what if this car crashes out of the sky or somebody hacks it while you're flying in it? Like, who knows what can go wrong? I think there's a lot of risks more than driving on the ground,
Yeah,
I would probably prefer to drive a Tesla on the ground than flying one of these personally.
Yeah, I don't think that this is the answer to alleviate traffic or anything like that. I think this is this is an insane way to drive.
What is that? That looks like a rocket ship, like I'm going to the moon.
Yeah, I mean, these are obviously like all mock-ups and, just designs that people are making.
Well, I think it's like almost like a drone, and then it's like a large drone.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Basically, and I think that if anybody's going to have this anytime soon, it's going to be billionaires, people that have a lot of money, and like CEOs. Nobody of the affordable middle class, even upper class, would probably, I don't think this is going to be anytime soon, as you're saying.
Yeah, but look it was just on a helicopter landing pad. Like we have helicopters.
Yeah.
And there's no way that we're going to give this to millions of people to get around.
Right.
Especially
it's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of time to get this up and going.
Yeah, I don't think that this is something that is.
But it's amazing how many countries are actually like really pushing this.
No, I mean I obviously believe it. I think people are a lot more optimistic than I am about this.
Yeah.
And maybe, it can be, the thing is that as they're designing these things, they can find other uses for it. So it's not just going to be, we're making this for the everyday person. It's going to be like, we're making this, and in the process, hey, we actually found a better way to use a certain engine, or we've designed a new engine, and then they implement that into spacecraft or whatever. So they can use all these new parts and technology that they've created for a lot of other new technologies. And I would say more importantly, anything to do with going to space.
And anybody who's watching this video when it's up, I also want you guys to comment. Tell us what you think about this. Do you think this is going to be good or bad? What your opinion is? Whatever topics we're talking about, we're really interested in hearing your feedback as well. So
no question.
Let's not keep hammering about this, but I know, Paul, you were talking about something else as far as, what was it, Windows?
As far as we are seeing the.
Let me stop the screen share. I apologize.
Very good. But we're basically seeing the end of certain eras that really started a lot of ways that we communicate and organize different things through computers and through software. So we have two really big changes that are happening that are coming very, very quickly. So we have in the fall of, now you actually mentioned this to me, but in the fall of this year, 2019, supposedly, so iTunes is going to be completely eradicated. iTunes is going to be gone for good and be ultimately replaced with, like, Apple Music is going to be at like the top tier, and then there'll just be like things under that. So like we were talking about earlier, there'll be the Apple Podcast you still have Apple TV and anything else that that Apple has to offer. But iTunes was, initially that was made in 2001. It was really just for you to organize your library and
Yeah, did you want me to show that real quick?
Let's see here. See if I even have it in here.
Because I actually had it up. I know you guys might have seen it flashing here and there. I apologize, but I did have it up. We're talking about that while we were talking about the flying cars.
iTunes ending. Let's see here. No, Apple isn't.
It sounds like they're just going to be changing the name. It's no longer going to be called iTunes. It's going to be called something music app.
Yeah, that's really all. I mean, that's basically what's happening, and everything's going to be like easily transferable. You're not losing any of your music or anything like that.
Right.
I'm going to go to Tom's Guide because that's actually a really good website. Let me open this up. So
who's Tom?
You don't want to know. If I tell you, I have to kill you. The end of iTunes. Okay, so here, pull this up. So this article was actually written in April, but a lot of it really is still applicable right now. So yeah, initially it was made in 2001. Like I said, it was more just for organizing your library and like ripping and burning CDs, that kind of stuff. So really what they're doing, and you know what, and we'll actually put these links in the description for everybody else to check out later. So, but it's basically what we said, where what's going to happen is, and from starting now, basically, any new device that Apple comes out with, iTunes will not be included whatsoever. It will not be available on these new devices. You cannot install it at all. So it's just going to be completely gone and then being taken over by Apple Music. Basically, we're going to say Apple Music, just to make it simple. But yeah, so goodbye iTunes for good, and that the estimated time for that is fall 2019. That's when they're.
Yeah, I mean, Apple does have podcasts as well, and we are looking to put our podcasts on there in the future as well. So stay tuned for that, guys.
Oh yeah, I mean, like we were saying earlier, oh my God, you can submit you have to have what's called an RSS feed, but you can have the podcast on 20 plus places that are actually going to help you gain traction. But that's for another day, and hopefully people will check that out as well. So the inner circle. But yeah, I mean, there really isn't anything too crazy to this as far as what's going to happen. It seems like it's going to be a very smooth transition. But the other big thing that I have right here is my favorite operating system ever is no longer going to be supported by Microsoft come January 2020. So,
and you actually helped me with my one laptop. I still had the Windows 7, and Paul actually was able to install it. I had the blue screen of death, and then Paul was able to fix it, and still have Windows 7 on there, but that's a shame. Windows 7 was pretty awesome.
The Windows 7, the best way to see how well an operating system runs is by installing it on an older machine.
Right.
If I were to install Windows 7 on a machine from 2004, it would actually run pretty well. But the higher I go up, once I put on, Windows 8 or 8.1, I'll see probably at least a 50%, if not more, decrease in the speed. And then once you put Windows 10 on it, on an older computer, then you actually see that basically not even work at all. It's almost just like a wallpaper where every once in a while you see the mouse move a little bit or something like that. But
I think my favorite Windows by far was Windows XP.
XP was great. XP was fantastic.
That was my favorite.
Yeah, that
I just love the simplicity of it, how fast it ran. It was just so easy to use.
No, I agree. XP definitely. They set the bar really high, and luckily, when they made Windows, like we saw the shitstorm of Windows Vista, which was absolute garbage. But
Yeah,
the only positive thing that came out of Windows Vista was that Windows 7 actually applied some of the actual, what they call the GUI, the graphic user interface. So the actual the visuals and how to access different things, they did take from Vista. But performance-wise, Vista was garbage, and then they just hit the nail on the head with Windows 7. And that's what I'm still using right now on my desktop and on my laptop, just because.
Yeah, you put Windows 8 on this laptop, and it's running pretty fast. You put it on, what is it, classic mode?
What do you mean? I think legacy mode.
So performance-wise, I think you can switch the modes up to whatever it is, standard or classic, normal, kind of like a Windows 7 look to it.
Oh, you talking? So that's basically just like setting your preferences towards best performance.
Because you can make it more graphic-y looking, or you can make it look more simplistic.
Yeah. Mine is like extremely plain.
Right, and that's how I prefer it.
Yeah, mine's like Windows 2000 plain. But again, my system runs fantastic. I have like 60 gigs of RAM. I have 3 terabytes of space.
That's insane.
Yeah, I got a solid state hard drive with Windows 7 on it. So all that combined just makes for an even better system. And this computer's old, man. This computer I've had for, I think it was built in I want to say 2012, 2013, but it runs amazingly well with Windows 7. So we're going to see they're going to put out one final update in January 2020, and then that's going to be it. It's not that you still can't use Windows 7, but you will eventually see what Google Chrome did, and what a lot of other different softwares did, where they just stopped making, for instance, Windows XP. Once Microsoft stopped supporting it, then those third-party programs like Google Chrome and anything else like that also stopped supporting Windows. Any newer versions, you couldn't install on Windows XP, and that's what's going to happen with Windows 7, unfortunately. So
where are we at right now as far as the latest Windows? What is it at now? 11 or 10?
No, it's still 10. It's still 10. It's just
what are they expecting after 10?
I have no idea. Honestly, I do not know for sure, but 10 is their bread and butter. 10 is the first operating system that they actually put, were able to put on a tablet. What is it the Surface Pro or something like that? So
yeah, I guess you call iPad, or what they call AirPads for Apple, but
yeah,
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, it's basically just a tablet, but it does have Windows 10 on it, but now all the laptops and computers that are coming out now can handle the requirements that are needed to run Windows 10. So, so it's not that big of a difference. But if you were to put Windows 7 on one of those newer systems, you would see that thing absolutely fly, like 10 times faster. So it just uses up a lot of memory and so forth. So we are just basically seeing the end of iTunes, but that's going to be a very smooth transition. That isn't anything to worry about. So if people are still using Windows 7 and they're concerned about updates and so forth, like I don't use a lot of Microsoft products. So everything I have is third party. My whatchamacallit? So the firewall is third party. It's Komodo, Google Chrome and Firefox and Thunderbird. These are all third party programs. None of them are Microsoft programs. So it doesn't really matter for me until something comes out and says, hey, Windows 7 isn't supported. But what are you going to do? Had a 10-year run, 2009 to 2019. So, but it's still going. So 2020 is when it's actually going to be completely finished. But anyway, so but Chris, you did have something really quick that you wanted to add as far as what is happening with any like newer Windows operating systems, what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, just like the iPhones, how there's always iPhone 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So,
right.
So Windows, I asked you, what would happen, what's after Windows 10, and I looked, someone saying Windows 10 is the final, which to me wouldn't make sense, that it would be final because there's always a newer and better for everything. And then I found this here article, I'll share the screen, talking about Windows 12, basically, that they're going from 10 to 12. I don't know why you skipped two numbers, but I guess
that's just 2 days. This was 2 days ago on this website, but I wonder if there's anything official from Microsoft on here.
Yeah, I just kind of laugh. It's like the military. They count down, they get your socks on. They're like 30, 28, 27, 4, 5, 3, 2, 1. Done, so done.
Yeah.
We went from 10 to 12. How did that happen? But anyway, Windows 12 apparently is going to be the next Windows version program. As far as the release date, it's saying doesn't really have a. I think I read here at the end of the late here it is, late 2019. There will be no Windows 11. The company decided to jump straight to Windows 12. Maybe Bill Gates got a little happy and just said, let's make it 12. So,
I wonder, I mean, this is obviously an article from somebody else, but I would like to see this from from Microsoft themselves.
Yeah, it says Windows hasn't had any discussions about a Windows 11 or 12. We're not stating that there has been, but Microsoft recently announced stating that Windows 10 was going to be around for at least 10,
I can
20
see
years.
I can see that.
I'm not saying that's not going to happen, but I don't feel like they're going to keep it for that long, knowing basically what we're going to be talking about next with you is how much technology has advanced in 20 years. I just don't see them only keeping it or calling it Windows 10. I think it's going to be like Windows Infinite or something of the sort,
Well, the biggest, if that is accurate, so I mean, Windows 10 has been around for about 4 years now, from when they started, but Windows 12. But as we've seen, they've just continuously updated Windows 10, and they've been making it better and better and better and better, all the time. So I actually think that is a really smart idea to keep. Now this is I don't think this is accurate what we're seeing here. This is like some BS. Like, look at this. Look at their subscribe rate. It says
He's got 66 dislikes and there's only
Yeah,
56
it's
likes.
because it's bullshit.
Somebody actually made this up. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's just somebody's video that they made.
Yeah.
There's nothing crazy going on here.
So all they're doing is this. They're like la 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 la.
Yeah,
Windows 13.
because you can set up like different custom designs and how you want Windows to look. So,
Yeah.
but you know what? I don't think there's anything planned for a new
Maybe not.
new
So
operating.
maybe I apologize. There might not be a 12, but sounds like Windows 10 is going to be around forever or a long time at least.
The biggest, I think that what they're trying to do is by keeping Windows 10 around for so long and having them updated all the time, they're trying to get people to just use Microsoft products.
Right.
So whether it's a newer version of Office, that you have to keep upgrading once a year, whether it's what's it called? What's their like there's Google Drive and then was this called like OneDrive or something like that?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So like their plan is like for you to use like their app store to get a lot of people on board with a lot of the Microsoft products is what we're going to see happen. Is what is happening. So
well, it's kind of like basically outdating everybody's software so they can catch up with the times and get out of the the rock. Again, they're living on a rock, so let's get out of the rock and upgrade to Windows 10.
Yeah, they're going to have. So it's going to be, everybody using something Windows related, and then going from there. So once they have that all set up, and they have it, and they make it extremely easy to use when there is an update or when there is a newer operating system, it's just they're going to make it extremely easy for people to update their software. Where in the past it's kind of been a pain in the ass for the average person to do.
It's kind of like almost like with the iPhones where you basically can't use your old iPhones anymore. You have to put the newer software on it, but when you do that for older iPhones, it actually crashes and doesn't work.
Right,
so
right, exactly.
You need to upgrade, and this is kind of like what's happening.
Yeah. Let me see. I actually had. So I saw this. This was actually a little bit ago, but I recorded this, and this was a flock of they weren't geese, but there was a formation of birds, wherever they were heading, but just how they were actually flying in sync with each other. This is such a weird segue from what we were just talking about.
We went from Microsoft Windows to birds.
The birds, yeah. So if I can get it up and running, that would be nice.
A lot of birds do crash into windows. I have seen a pigeon crash into a window.
Oh, it happened. It actually happened last week at my house.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was just because we had just finished like Windexing.
Okay. They really think that there's nothing there, and they're just like.
Yeah. All right. I think birds are becoming more and more suicidal because every time that I'm driving, over the last couple of years, I'm always seeing birds dip in front of the car. I don't know if you've seen that, but
with the flying cars now, we're going to be hitting them.
Yeah, whenever the hell that happens, maybe on Mars. But okay, so let me just show you this real quick. Share the VLC.
Mars.
All right, so let's get it. So
no, we'll be hitting the aliens when we do that.
So can you see this? Can you see my cursor?
Yeah. I see the birds there.
All that, all this, the formation.
Yeah, they almost look like the twigs in the picture.
Yeah. Well, let me turn down the volume on this. Hopefully it doesn't lag too much. But look how they're flying now. You can see that. it's absolutely like one of the most like miraculous things that that nature can do here, where you see them all flying in this certain pattern. They're in that flying bee pattern, and then they just look. They all just go together in their own.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy. And this was, this was somewhat recently.
They're really smart birds. Actually, real quick, not to interrupt, but one of my videos that was fairly, recent, I uploaded. We were mini golfing and we found a baby bird on the ground, and I looked up and there was a nest like way up in the sky of the tree, not in the sky, but up in the tree, and the baby bird, we're like, what do you do for a baby bird? Because it looked like the wing was injured. But anyway, I looked it up, and so if a baby bird has, I never knew this, if a baby bird has feathers, it's called a fledgling. Fledgling.
Fledgling. Okay. Yeah.
So now, if it doesn't have feathers, then it's called a, hold on, a nestling. It's called a nestling.
Okay.
So a nestling is in danger, basically. A nestling needs to be brought back to its nest.
Right.
It's still growing, it needs its feathers, and it can't fly. Okay, so you can put it in the nest, apparently, from what I read up about this.
Yeah.
Now, for a fledgling that has feathers, what you want to do is actually leave it alone. You don't want to touch a little baby bird with feathers, because the mother or the father are actually watching it, and you think that nobody's there, but they are watching their children.
They'll abandon it, right?
What's that?
They'll abandon it, right?
No, I read about that too. And if you touch them or try to put it in the nest, apparently the fledgling will just like hop out of its nest and be like, "You idiot! I'm supposed to be out of the nest." Like. So don't touch the baby bird with feathers. Just let it be, and the mother and father are getting worms, trying to feed it and let it grow. But if you see a bird without feathers, that's the one you want to put in the nest, because it's still growing and it shouldn't have been out of the nest.
Okay, I thought. I mean, unless this is an urban legend, that if you were to actually, if you saw like a nest on your porch or whatever, and you go and you actually grab the bird out of the nest, you hold it, and then you put it back into the nest, that the mama and daddy bird would actually abandon the baby bird completely. That's what I've heard I've heard that in the past. Do not touch them whatsoever, because the parents will completely abandon the.
So here's my video here of the baby bird. See how it has feathers? It's a fledgling.
Yeah.
We were like, what do we do with this bird? We're just like concerned because his wing here on the right is actually injured. We could tell.
Stomp it.
So anyway, I did look it up because I was concerned about it, and let me get out of this and show you my description here of what to do if you find a nestling or fledgling. And here's a website, and I'll show you exactly what it says. If you found a baby bird, what I was telling you, it's on here as well. But what you're referring to about a mother or father eating or destroying, like killing their children, or not, basically abandoning their children, they don't do that apparently. According to this, it says, let's see, I'm trying to get to that part where they will not abandon a baby if it has been touched by humans. If the nest has been destroyed, you can make a new one and place the chick back inside. If you have found both parents dead, the young bird is injured, you can actually call a wildlife rehabilitator directory, according to your state. But it says they will not basically harm or abandon their birds if they were touched by humans.
Okay, that's actually really cool to know.
But here it says there's no reason to intervene beyond putting the bird on a nearby perch, or basically the parents are attending other children that you're not aware of, and they're just trying to get food for their children.
Right. Okay.
So I didn't know any of this stuff, but just so you guys know now, if you find a baby bird, this is what you need to do. So
Cool. Yeah, that's that was, geez, man. People, my parents,
baby bird 101.
adults have been lying to me forever.
Well, no, I think you're right about there's a certain animal that I believe you're right in the fact that the mother, I forget what animal it is, that if you do humans touch it, they will kill it or they will abandon or leave it. I don't remember what animal it is, but I believe you're right.
Yeah, I was always just told it was birds, though. That was what I heard. And the other
It's a certain animal. I can't remember which one it is, though.
Yeah. The other thing that I heard growing up, and I don't know if you did as well, that microwaves contain radioactive material in it.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
Which is not true at all whatsoever.
Right.
You could stand face to face to a microwave. Like the microwave could be on for 20 hours, and you could stare at it, and nothing would happen. Not one thing would happen. You get tired. That's about it. But it has zero. All it's doing is sending certain waves to actually heat up water inside of inside of whatever food that you're preparing and so forth. But that's it.
Right.
There's absolutely nothing in there that is radioactive or that will hurt you in any way. The worst thing that'll happen is that it'll make your chicken a little dry, but that's about it. So the microwaves are not dangerous in any way, shape, or form. And I was under that notion until almost a year ago. About a year ago.
Not about the microwave, but here I just found another website. This is what they call them, folklore. These are myths that we come across that if you do this, this is going to happen. But these are just folklore and things that we've been taught that were not true, fact or fiction. Birds abandon their young when the humans touch it. And actually it says that, I forgot to mention, birds cannot smell the touch of a human on their children.
Oh, okay.
They are not in response to human touch. They don't, so basically yet no bird's sense of smell is cued to human scent, which I didn't know about that either. So this is also a myth that, what you're saying, it's a myth.
Yeah. So they would have no idea. They have no freaking clue whatsoever.
Yeah.
The mama bird.
It's kind of like, what's that, well, if you swallow a penny, or no, you swallow gum, it's going to be in your stomach for 7 years.
I heard that I never believed that one, but I heard that a long time ago.
Right. I mean, you poop it out. I mean, we didn't know that when we were kids, but.
Yeah, you won't digest it. Like, it'll just come out exactly.
Even a penny's not going to sit there for the rest of your life.
Right. But it was even like don't swallow your gum.
Yeah.
It's going to destroy your insides and all that kind of stuff. But when all you like you said, my brother used to swallow Legos, penny. I've swallowed tons of gum.
Yeah, I think we all have.
Yeah, didn't have anywhere to spit it out, and it just would show up in my poop the next day.
And then you were constipated.
Yeah, pretty much. No, it just showed up in my poop. That was it. Or if there was a quarter or $50, then I was just 50 cents richer. So just to take it out of my poop and go to Wawa or something like that and spend it. So, but yeah, I mean, not to drag out the podcast. Like I mentioned in the beginning, this is just something that that I personally, and I'm sure that you do as well, just enjoy doing. It just puts me in a different mindset for whatever reason. Like I said, just preparing, certain notes for when and if I do need them, and so
Right.
forth. It actually gives me something to look forward to instead of going through like a mundane, like everyday existence of just going through basically a checklist every day. Okay.
Yeah, I think we definitely learn new things as we go along as well. It helps us. It helps our people that are watching this. And again, please comment, feedback. We want to hear what you guys have to say too.
Yeah, I'm actually really glad that our average watch time is pretty high. Considering, I mean, it's higher. The average watch time, as most podcasts are, but
Right.
are obviously longer than a lot of my other videos. So there's a lot of people that are at the minimum, watching 15 minutes straight of each podcast.
That's great.
According to the
Awesome. Thank you guys. That's awesome.
yeah, according to the YouTube analytics. So sometimes obviously it's tough to watch an entire podcast when you have things to do and so forth.
Yeah.
And so that's why I really want to get our podcast, The Inner Circle, onto other platforms so people don't have to keep their phone on, on YouTube.
Right.
Even to just listen to it. Like I want them to go wherever else and then turn off their screen and be able to listen to it.
And then we could provide those links that refer to what we're talking about so you can look it up later if you're not able to watch what we're talking about at that moment.
Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely have all the ones that we can find now because I exited a couple things but no, overall, I mean, now that we are on episode 4, I'm gonna have to change a couple thumbnails and that kind of stuff for the previous ones. But maybe eventually down the line, it's very possible that we could, have this could be its own channel, and not just on my channel either. So, but definitely to everyone who's watching, or listening, we are definitely going to expand to a ton of other platforms where you can just, like any other podcast, you find the date, you click on it, you listen to it, and I don't think we could upload as much as Joe Rogan because that dude puts out minimum 2 podcasts a day. So he has.
You guys know, I mean, I have a family, I have a wife and daughter, so I'll be able to do as much as I can do within my means, and I love doing this with Paul, and it's definitely enjoyable. It's fun. I like informing people. I like to laugh about things. So I'll give as much time as I can with whatever day I have, and just keep going.
Yeah, people are like, we don't care, just keep putting them out. Dance, monkey, dance.
Yeah.
So, the last thing that I wanted to just touch on again, we talked about it a little bit yesterday, was basically the difference from the early 2000s internet to this now 2019 going into 2020 internet, and how we actually were, like we talked about before in episode 3, making this website in 2002, like I said, that had minimum 50,000 to 100,000 views a day in 2002. Like I remember seeing, and we were just doing it for fun. We made this website for fun, and a lot of the code was all manually written. It wasn't provided by the host or anything like that. Like all these other like Squarespace and what's that other one?
Java?
No.
Or C++?
Not a program like that, but like Squarespace and then Wix.
Oh, okay.
Like that kind of stuff. So
yeah, you have Homestead, these websites where you can design your own website with their own pre-programmed design layouts.
Yeah.
Template.
Right. Where like, dude, I made an online store the other day. It took me 20 minutes.
That's great.
To create an online store and to be able to check out.
Did you use Wix or no?
No. You know what? To be honest with you,
I really enjoy Wix a lot. Wix is a really good website building program, very user friendly.
Yeah, it's definitely. Yeah, I think Wix is more user friendly than Squarespace, but I think Squarespace has a lot more to offer than Wix, from what I've seen.
Wix, for you guys that don't know, it's Wix.com.
Yeah. I used it for a little bit. Like I wanted to test it out and see how it was, but I am still now, in late 2019, I am still that very old school, website designer where for the most part I'm doing it all from code that I remember.
Yeah.
And if I have to, I'll Google certain like HTML codes and all that.
I actually, real quick, I designed this website for our uncle.
Is this person?
For our uncle using Wix, and I just wanted to show you guys how simple it looks. Very simple, easy layout. It's just really simple. There's nothing really extravagant about it. There's no coding. It's just all do-it-yourself images and whatnot. So Wix.com is the website.
It's like drag and drop a lot of it.
Wix.com. So that's what it looks like, so you guys know. And then I'll let Paul show whatever square he's talking about.
Whatever square. No,
E equals MC squared.
Trust me, people definitely know.
What's the Eminem squared? What's he say? That song.
What are you talking about?
The dance. He's like square dance.
Come square dance with me. Right.
Yeah, come square dance.
No, this is like Squarespace is actually a big sponsor of a lot of different podcasts.
I never heard of this square dance. I mean, square
dance space. No, it's just called Squarespace. Squarespace.com.
Never heard of the Squarespace.
But hold on, I'm trying to get it up so I can actually share it. But I almost guarantee you that anybody.
Is this a myth or is this no, just kidding.
Yeah. I guarantee you.
Another myth that you're telling me about?
Yeah. I guarantee you that 99.9% of people that are, if they're still here watching this, that they have definitely heard of Squarespace.com.
Okay.
But, yeah. So this is Squarespace.com.
Now you said it's easier than Wix?
No. So Wix is easier in my experience. Okay. But Squarespace has much more to offer than Wix, in my personal opinion, in my personal experience. So, but their templates are actually pretty sweet. Hey, Squarespace, why don't you holler at us and give us and sponsor the show since we're advertising. Since we're advertising your website for free. but this is one where you can make a free website, but at the same time, I think that's like a limited time thing where it's free for a little bit, but then ultimately you have to pay for it. So, but yeah, like I was saying, not like I said, not to drag this out, but from that point, from 2000 and we'll say 2002 to 2019, just the actual difference as far as the internet speeds, as far as like what were we using back then? Like we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have cell phones.
Dial-up, right?
Well, 2002 I think was like when I first had DSL.
Okay, yeah, you did have DSL. I had dial-up. I mean, I knew you had dial-up too. But
Yeah.
The web pages that we made, I think, were with our DSL or cable modem, they called it, right?
Yeah, which is
Comcast at the time.
I mean, it's a lot of that hasn't changed besides the actual.
Basically, I mean, there's really nothing complicated. It's just this is the internet. It was like this, and now it's like this, and now it's like.
Yeah, now it's now it's going to light speed.
Then I can run in place. So.
Yeah, it's absolutely, the speeds are way different. Like the first time that I actually got DSL, I was able to download at I want to say like 100 to 200 like kilobytes a second, and now
I'm downloading at like 548 trillion bits per second.
There's just it's absolutely unbelievable, and like for me personally, I can only download. I mean, this is just what my plan is with my my ISP is it's for basically 60 megabits per second, which is still perfectly fine for me. Like I don't need to go past that. It works great, and that still lets me download at 10 megabytes a second, which is unbelievable.
Well, how about we do this real quick? Yeah, I mean, you've always shown me this, so let's take a look at mine and let's take a look at yours. Let's just check this out, the speed test. So I have Comcast. I actually have the fastest internet speed for Comcast Xfinity, whatever you want to call it. And let's see what we're at right now for me. So I'm at 107.7 download megabytes per second, correct?
Yeah, 100 megabits it should be. Yeah.
Megabits, okay. So now I'm at 39.3 upload.
Right.
My server's coming from New York, but I live in Philadelphia.
Well, no, that's not where that's just where the server is that it connected to.
So my internet speed is very fast according to this. So let's see yours now.
Yeah. All right, let me get it here. I'm going to use my my DS. I always go to DSL reports.
So I was 107 download and 39 upload.
Well, yours is definitely faster than mine. Like I said, my plan is for like 50 or 60 megabits per second. It isn't anything crazy.
Okay.
So let's see here. I'll share this screen. So this is DSL reports, which is actually another really good website. Speed test updates. Okay.
And who do you have?
So I actually have RCN.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's definitely a lesser known one on the East Coast, and it's really only in a couple of states, and even the states that it's in, it's not everywhere. Now, right now, I don't know why this is so slow. To be honest.
Yeah, that's like a dial-up.
That's definitely not a dial-up. Yeah, maybe move
two upload. But
I'll show you my show you my previous ones here. Hold on.
Yeah, that's is that right?
It might be right now.
Oh,
Hold
that's
on.
crazy.
Like as we're doing other stuff.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Just trying to do the RCN speed tests.
And what's crazy, guys, is I actually have my laptop upstairs and downstairs, and for some reason, having the highest internet speed with Comcast, you would think that no matter where I go in my house, my internet speed would not be interrupted, but going upstairs and downstairs away from my router, and the router's back here, it actually affected my reception or whatever you want to call it. So it's amazing. No matter how fast your speed is, how it's really how close you are to the router.
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah, that definitely helps.
Because we talked about what is a Wi-Fi, like how does a Wi-Fi work, and you explained it, right? It's like a mushroom. So if I'm upstairs, I would have less, and if I'm
down, yeah,
I should have a better reception than upstairs. But for some reason, walls and quality, whatever kind of type of walls you have can be blocking the signal.
Yeah. But this is typically what I'll get, like around this area, like when I've done them in the past, like 56 megabits,
yeah, that's not
48 roughly. It might just be because we're doing this right now. I don't think I'm downloading anything else, but regardless, it still does the trick for me. Like, so right now it's just me. And
well, yeah, that's actually good on your part, that the fact that your numbers are low, but you're actually still running really well. There's no problems at all. We haven't had any interference on your side.
No, definitely not.
Actually incredible to me.
Yeah, I usually do rely on DSL reports. I usually prefer using DSLreports.com's speed test, but I think when like we're connected like this, and I have a couple things running in the background, but typically if I just do like a standalone speed test, I'm at like roughly 60 megabits per second for the download. But the upload that's the one cool part with the upload for RCN, is that it's even with the download.
Yeah, my upload is extremely low.
Yeah, so that's the one really. So
why do you think that is? I mean, why would my upload not be the same as my download?
I think
how is that even fair that my upload is not the same?
I think, and I could be totally wrong, but I think that whatchamacallit, I think that there's just more concern with people that are actually are doing more streaming and so forth, and they don't need a lot of bandwidth to upload what like the average person is doing. Like the average person is using Facebook and Instagram and all kinds of social media. That's what the average person is using.
So what we're doing right now, you told me this is actually an uploading. This is not a download.
So it's both. So you are.
Yeah, we'll be downloading. Yeah.
You're basically downloading from me.
Right.
You're seeing what I'm putting out, and
I'm uploading to you.
Yeah, and vice versa. And
right,
same thing both ways. So yeah, I'm uploading my video, and my voice.
Do I catch it in my hand, or
you catch it? Well, you typically need a glove of some sort, something like that. That would typically work. But yeah, that was really weird. I just looked at what the hell is that?
I'm trying to upload or download. However that works.
I usually just.
It's amazing that we talk about these things, but like it's invisible. Like there's nothing there. Where is it?
It's unbelievable. I mean, it's just going through. Yeah, I mean, I'm actually directly plugged in, which is nice.
It's kind of like the Willy Wonka when the kid went through like the TV and he was like, like,
Oh
look.
yeah, yeah. He just came out in the whatever like the
Yeah,
whatever like a signal would look like, and like that like blurry version. So, um, but yeah, I mean, unless you had anything else you wanted to touch up on or talk about, I think we gave out a lot of information.
yeah. I think we learned a lot. We gave out a lot of information, and again, I just want to hit on everyone's feedback. Like, even though Paul and I are doing this, we want to hear your feedback. We want to know what you guys think. We want to hear what topics you might want us to talk about, and so we can continue on and have your input and not just this be about Paul and I. This is also about you guys because you're the one who is listening and watching this as well. So, and also one last thing, I'm not going to continue to do little intros to these podcasts. I had 3 for the first 3 of them, but from now on, again, I'm just going to let you know, go to the Polio Junior DIY to check out the rest of the podcast. And then from then on, if we're on other social media platforms, Facebook or whatever, as Paul was saying earlier, we'll put them out on there. But I'm not going to continue with the little emoji intros.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very beneficial for us to start putting it on Facebook, SoundCloud, Bandcamp,
Right.
iTunes, or the podcast section of iTunes and all that good stuff. So
Awesome.
yeah, so I hope that you guys actually like. I put in the community tab yesterday on the channel of the Inner Circle podcast, obviously what this is called now, and so just how the actual the logo looks for the podcast and so forth, because that's going to be like the official logo. And I'm just working on. So I'm just personally working on getting more exposure for the podcast. But like Chris said, like we definitely want as much feedback as possible. Like a million thank yous to everyone who has checked it out, even for a couple minutes, but let alone like the people that have been watching it for, who have watched the entire videos all the way through. And if not, watching it between 15 and 20 minutes, you have no idea what a huge help this is, and the time and effort that Chris and I have to go through, and we're taking a big chunk of our day out, even though it is exciting to do and it's definitely fun to do, but it's still a chunk out of our day, and so.
Real quick, if you guys feel like there's a topic, for instance today, if you feel like there's a topic that doesn't interest you, and there's another one that we're talking, just scroll through it. Go to that point of the podcast to hear that section if that's what you want to hear.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously the we're not gonna 100% cater to the fan base. Like we love we absolutely love our fans. We love our audience, subscribers, all that. But we're not going to just cater to what exactly you want. We would love suggestions, absolutely. But, as far as how the podcast is being, we're seeing it slowly progress into what I thought originally it was just going to be. I wasn't even going to call it a podcast. It was going to be called a conversation or whatever. And they were going to be done bi-weekly, if maybe once a month. And now the more that Chris and I are doing it, the more we're going, okay, this is ours. This is Chris, and this is Chris's, and this is mine. This is our podcast. We work as a team. And whatever happens, we typically discuss beforehand. So I have and I'm sure Chris does too, but we have we have plans to actually have other people on the podcast as well. So, and we do have a couple people set up. It's just a matter of when. So, but this is all teamwork, and like I said, suggestions are always welcome. But we're just gonna do what we do. We're just gonna do what we enjoy, and go from there. And some of it might sound like fucking nonsense, but I think the majority of what we've been doing has been extremely informative and definitely pertinent to what's been happening and what's been going on, and then just bullshitting on some other ends. But
yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so far I'm digging it. So far I'm definitely getting more comfortable doing this.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
Even though we're still just looking at a webcam and talking, it can still be difficult in the beginning of coming up with things off the top of your head, as we're going along. So we were actually developing a new skill set doing this. It's helping us become better conversationalists, and and then just stretching out our minds a little bit with all the different things that we are learning about and so forth, and discussing. It's just like one thing leads to another, and like we have no idea. I have no idea.
I mean, we have topics planned out, but we also seem to go on other tangents related to those topics.
Oh yeah, no question. So we start out talking about Windows, and then start talking about
birds.
Start talking about birds, flying in that
Baby birds.
in the flying V formation. So who the hell knows? But anyway, I know I am 100% grateful to everyone who has watched, even 20 seconds of any of these podcasts. Extremely grateful.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm still going to put out, other videos as well, as I'm sure Chris is too.
Yes.
So just to make it clear again, Chris, is there anything else that you want to promote? Your YouTube channel, anything else that you can think of that would help you out in any way?
Not just so much. Our channels, I would say, almost are similar in a way. I've learned a lot from you, Paul, from the way you handle your YouTube channel. But I found learn over time that a lot of people are really unfamiliar with YouTube and how you navigate. For instance, you have a playlist, and you told me to create playlists, and that's what I did.
Yeah.
So I created playlists, and now everything I have is organized in these playlists. So when you're on my channel or Paul's, click on the playlist, and you'll easily find, almost like what we're doing, topics, sections that relate to what you're looking for, and that will help you out greatly. If you want to comment, you scroll all the way down, and you'll be able to comment. Just trying to think of some other things on YouTube that people a lot of times in my videos, YouTube presets the quality to a lower setting. So if you want to raise the quality, you just click the three little dots, 1, 2, 3 at the top, and then you can change the video quality to a higher resolution. So a lot of people are not aware of that for some reason, and then they're like, why is this video blurry, or if this doesn't look good, then they leave it. But really, the video is actually a better quality than you think. Just click those three dots at the top right, and you can change it to a higher resolution. Yeah. You guys have seen us do this now in these podcasts as well.
Yeah.
That's just some tips about YouTube itself. Some people just don't know how to comment or change the video quality.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think a lot of it's automatic too. I mean, as far as like what speed you have and whatnot.
Right.
So like that happens on my phone a lot. It's on automatic, so like the the quality keeps changing no matter what. So as of right at this moment, like I said, we are still working on getting the podcast available on other platforms. So until then, right now, ignore my scribbles. But obviously, if you're watching this video, you're most likely watching it on. Oh my God! Why did I just? Oh man, is there a mirror effect? I thought there was like a mirror effect here.
Mirror effect.
But never. Okay, hold on. Really, 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 really quick. So, if you're watching this, most likely you're watching it on youtube.com/Polio Junior DIY. So, but at the same time, I would also like to throw out my Twitter handle to everybody, which I believe is Polio Junior 1. And just to double check here, I'm gonna share this really quick. Share the Twitter screen really quick, and hopefully it comes up relatively quickly here. So, okay.
I think I don't think we're friends on Twitter, but I will add you right now.
Yeah, we should definitely do that.
So let me do that right now on my phone.
But yeah, I'm just. Oh, did PewDiePie get married? Oh, he's married 5 hours ago. PewDiePie got married.
Who is
PewDiePie, the #1 individual YouTuber.
That looks like hieroglyphics. Is that Hebrew? What is that?
Where are you looking?
Hebrew?
Oh no, it's just like it's a different font.
Oh.
PEWDIE. Yeah. DIE. Yeah. PewDiePie.
So what's your Twitter handle? I'm gonna put it in right now.
Pretty sure it's Polio Junior 1.
Polio. I'm putting it in on my phone. Polio Junior 1. Okay. Yep, that's correct. I'm gonna hit follow right now. So you got me? Did it come up?
Oh, that's it. Yeah, it is. Yeah, at Polio Junior 1.
Okay. Did I come up as following you? Do you see me?
Let me see.
CJ's info.
I should have just hit followers so that I can just follow you too. But this is something that I've been planning on. I've been needing to get on. Okay, follow you. Okay, follow. Okay. So it came up as CJ Matthew.
Yeah, that's another thing, guys. When I started my channel, my YouTube channel, I started off saying CJ Matthew, and Matthew is my confirmation name. You know, my first name's Christopher, and then Joseph's my middle name. But anyway, I'm going to be calling myself CJ. Most of my videos now are CJ. I don't use Matthew anymore, but some of these things like Twitter and whatnot, I haven't been able to change it yet, so I'll figure out if there's a way I can change it, but I go by CJ on my social media.
Right, okay, gotcha. I think you could even change your handle too. So
Okay.
That's pretty I never even looked at this part of this well, that's something for another day, but but yeah. So that's really all I have today. I feel like this podcast has been at this for like an hour and 45 minutes, I think, if maybe around it, roughly. So I think it is. I think it is time to call it a day for the official the Inner Circle podcast, episode 4.
Awesome.
And then in the future we will have a some guests as well. So, but until then, you're stuck with us too. So, but all right, I'm out.
Thanks,
Polio
guys.
Junior DIY on YouTube and Polio Junior 1 on Twitter. That's where I'm at. Thanks for watching. I'm sorry, Chris. What were you saying? Go ahead.
No, I said thank you, everybody. I look forward to the next podcast with you, Paul. And again, guys, throw the feedback out. We want to hear it so we can, for number 5, put in your comment, your suggestions and whatnot.
Yep, exactly what he said. Okay. All right, guys. See you later. Thanks for watching.
Peace out.
Later.